last night.
Yes.
In a game that was described with many words. It was pretty chaotic at times. It was, especially on Liquid's side, it was messy. It was confusing. Buck is the first one removed there from Liquid.
So there's a lot to say about this, and we'll get into it when we get into the game. The Buck ban is definitely unusual on Coastline, but it's not completely out there. I mean, there is a lot of soft restriction to be brought on Coastline. It does make a little bit of sense going through. We are going to see, of course, the Lion ban coming through from FaZe Clan, which also makes a huge amount of sense. We saw them ban Lion last time as well, so no surprises coming out from FaZe here. Is it going to be banned out? Probably Mirror here. Would make the most sense. Actually, going to know could be Clash. I mean, they did ban out Lion and Clash last time. We actually have a 100% ban rate on Lion and Clash so far in OGA Season 2. So we're going to see how it goes down. Is Liquid going to be out their final defender? Probably going to be a Mirror or an Echo here. And yeah, it will be a Mirror being banned out. So pretty similar bans to what we had last map, apart from that Book being brought through. So interesting coming out there from Liquid. So the things I want to mention about this is, for a third to take, it's very, very hard to do without a Book.
Yeah.
But you can remember, that's only 2 rounds. And that's what we saw last night, is that both of those third to takes were pretty poorly executed coming out from FaZe. I think a big part of that is because they didn't have the Book.
They did also, Clash was unbanned yesterday when they did this exact same map as well. They let Clash through, and we saw, obviously they ended up losing, but Sexy Cake did bring the Clash on their rounds. So it's interesting to see why they've so quickly changed their mind after, obviously, they did it so well. And I think I've got the answer to why they haven't been banning Glass is just peek him.
Yeah, apparently you can just peek a Glass in smoke and you can just win the fight anyway, as long as you're Sexy Cake.
And we can see that Yuno is instantly gone for Glass as we head to Blue and Sunrise as our opener to what is hopefully going to be as intense Coastline.
Yeah, so I'd be surprised to see if we did actually look at a Liquid going to Penthouse Theater at any point, considering there's no Mirror and there's no Book. Sorry, no, there should be a Penthouse Theater take, but it'll be interesting to see how FaZe deals with it, because last night they didn't do great on those attacks. But, you know, we'll see how it goes down for the rest of these. I mean, this is also another one of those areas where it is fairly dependent on this upstairs take and fairly dependent on the soft restriction, but Cameraman on the sledge is going to be able to reprise that role, so it's not going to matter too much, I would think. And yeah, honestly, the only part of this map that I can actually expect that that the Book ban is really going to matter is going for a Penthouse Theater take.
Nesk instantly going for some aggressive peeks against the pool entrance. Does get droned by Yuno, who is obviously on the glass and is going to rightfully pull away, but not too far. You can see them instantly heading over and trying to stack up against that door to get that pick. Astro and Moringa, again, they're moving straight past. Or actually, Astro's going to set up underneath the kitchen window there, waiting for Bullet, who's dug in with the castle. And they are closing down fast, hoping to potentially get one of those a bit too aggressive holds, as we saw them get on Sexy Cake in the previous round. Astro is going to start digging into Hookah. We'll see whether that translates. Zig and Nesk playing on the far opposite side of the map. It's pulled as far back as Nesk could pull back.
I'm expecting Liquid to play this still fairly conservatively. You see, there's not really any upstairs roam coming out from them, and that's fairly natural to see on this site. It's pretty hard to hold on to Billiards when you don't have a mirror. Although, the fact that you have a castle, I kind of would have expected maybe someone to be up there, but you see the castles are mostly being played onto the site. We are seeing people from Liquid all the way onto the kitchen side instead. And I think also, you know, this Book ban is also playing into the way that Liquid are playing this right now, is that they have no really reason to try and roam upstairs. If they know there's only really the sledge who's going to pose huge amounts of threat for that soft destruction. But those are the rest of the push from FaZe is going to try and come through onto Sunrise potentially. And yeah, you can see pretty much everyone stacked up around that Moringa with a brilliant drone placement. As the sledge is going to be upstairs to try and have a little bit of a work here. Cameraman going to be doing his job on the sledge, trying to open up a little bit more soft destruction, trying to deny the rotates, of course. Sexy Cake and Bullet both going to be playing in kitchen still to try and deny the hallway as well. And still not a single kill going down just yet, so kind of different Liquid to what we saw last game.
It was quite interesting. For the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the map, it was actually Mav on the Capitao was playing on Ruins as the Zofia was trying to get the push into Hooker, and Yuna instead was playing the close angle. And you think, well, maybe they could have brought Capitao a little bit closer as soon as they knew they wanted to take it and knew they wanted to get that vertical control, and having that might have helped stack up. The destruction is starting to come across Kitchen as well, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for a push too far on it. They're just kind of opening walls and opening possibilities, but the first trade goes down as Astro gets Sexy Cake.
Beautiful shot coming out from Astro again on that beautiful entry frag and roll as Zofia as he tries to make his way into Sunrise. See PSK just launching all of his utility in here in the last few seconds. Bruniger is, of course, going to drone him out, of course. Not a lot of vertical being utilized here. Cameraman is still holding the angle from upstairs down into the behind of the bar, so if PSK tries to reprise that roll, it will work out badly for him. Ness gets the kill onto Astro. It's going to be a 4v4 now as Bruniger attempts to go for the plan, but Yoon is actually going to go down through the smoke. How does that happen again? The Nitro goes out, but it goes and misses. But the diffuser does actually manage to go down from FaZe. Mav takes down Bullet as he goes for the run out. Now it's a 2v3. Moringa doesn't have any sort of utility here, but there's still a little bit of utility coming out here from Mav that could start to go down. But FaZe still trying to hold this down at 2v3. The push comes out from Nesk, instantly gets traded out, and Mav takes down PSK. He can leave it all into the hands of Zig to try and recover this round, and he runs out, but Mav is gonna gun him down. FaZe can't take round number 1 with a successful plant of the diffuser.
Well, they did seem pretty aggressive there, and they were trying to get the retake. Obviously, once the diffuser has gone down, and you know, obviously, Capitao was still alive. Capitao with 2 of his bolts. It becomes a little bit of a trickier retake, but they kind of threw themselves at it, and for all the time it took FaZe to get set up, as we said, they did execute pretty cleanly. You do look at moments in that round, if that C4 had been just a little bit earlier to get the close down on that, that would have caught potentially 2, maybe 3 people, as we saw. It's interesting to see how that will start to develop from Liquid, whether they start reining in a defense that was a bit too far out, I would say.
I think one of the issues for me here is that the fact that Echo is available and has not been picked. We've only seen 1 Echo round so far, which worked out pretty well for Liquid last map, but we haven't seen him since. And honestly, I'm really confused as to why we're not seeing an Echo. We are going to see a Caviera coming out from Sexy Cake, however, which is very interesting. We did actually see an interrogation last time.
We did see an interrogation, and it is one of those moments that you just, it's like, you never think you're going to see it, and then it happens, and it's just like a Christmas, but a very violent, angry, where are your friends Christmas. It'll be nice to see whether Sexy Cake can pull off something of that caliber. Obviously, they were looking down rotations above the vertical, but we saw they didn't really push, didn't really try to get full control of it. They more just waited. They clarified the room was empty, but they didn't want to put bodies in there. They wanted to be more open towards rotating outside, and they just held that angle for a while. So maybe, I mean, Cav getting those canopies could be good, but if they keep going for a similar thing where they aren't really throwing bodies on that roam clear, it might become slightly less useful in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, they might do, but we are going to see Sexy Cake again going for this spawn peak that he actually did during Pro League, but as he was playing on the Clash last time. So, go for that same spawn peak onto Ruins. Unfortunately, not going to get anything with that, but Astro is going to get insanely lit up from that. Going to take a lot of damage from it so far as we start to move in to the action phase. Those 30 seconds going down as Cameraman tries to make his way onto the Hooker balcony. And we'll see exactly how FaZe want to try and deal with this. But Astro so low, hasn't been reset yet, but looks like he is going to try and get set soon.
Yeah, that is one of those moments when you do take a lot of damage at the beginning, you have plenty of time to reset. Obviously, in the previous game, we saw Nesk take a lot of damage and then just keep peeking, because that's what Nesk does. But it's always the smart thing that you can see. Why throw away an advantage? You've got the time to get yourself an extra 25 health. That's a bullet or 2 in the face, well, in the body you can take. But they're starting to push in front there. You're seeing Liquid holding these kind of wide angles. They're roaming a bit more off point as Nesk goes down, taken by Astro in office entrance. And now that is where that 25 health reset came in handy.
Yeah, it is going to come in handy indeed. Astro does manage to win out against Nesk, and that's the first one off the board. Looking pretty good for FaZe so far as he starts to try and move in and try and go for this plan. And they're playing a lot slower and a lot more conservatively than they had been previously. And this is why they're trying to win a lot of attacks. But honestly, as well, Coastline on top of that tends to be attacker-sided. So, and we definitely saw that last night as well. So we probably will see attackers win most of these rounds, but maybe once we swap around to Liquid on the attack, we might see something a little bit different. Sexagate is going to be playing above and trying to open up some vertical play as it does start to come through. Just about 1 minute left remaining on the clock, and Bullet and Sexagate still playing so aggressively, trying to find this pick onto Cameraman. He's going to be still into Hooker Lounge, still trying to drone it all out, seeing what he can do. Cameraman's drone is actually in Billy, so he should be able to see Sexagate, and he gets caught out! Oh no! Sexagate takes down Cameraman using that beautiful illusion pistol. Is going to try and take him down to a 4v4. Of course, as Bully takes down Yuna. That's already the glass off the board. Moringa looking to try and refrag this up onto Cool Vibes, but with only 40 seconds left to go on the clock, we haven't really seen any work being done so far from FaZe. Flashbangs are going to go out to Cool Vibes. Moringa tries to push all the way up and tries to force Bullet all the way out. Pushes all the way up, does take down Bullet easily as that, but he's got to realize that Sexagate is also on that roam still. Smokes are going to go out as Mav tries to make his way on through onto the hallway. And just manage to destroy the default camera as well. But they're still getting spotted as well. They know exactly where they are. Beautiful coordination coming out from Liquid so far. Moringa takes down Zig as he's trying to go for the plant. And no PSK through the smoke with a shotgun takes him down. Moringa's going to look the wrong way. He sees what? Moringa just does a full 180, takes down PSK with a headshot. Tries to go for the plant, but Sexagate should see him or should realize where he is. The plant not successfully going to go down. Sexagate takes Moringa down, and Team Liquid take round number 2. But wow, what a round.
Sexagate with 3 kills there, obviously picking them off one at a time beautifully on the other side of the map, and still being around ready just to clean up that plant. I mean, it's the stuff that you always want to see from your Cav, and bringing such an aggressive and clean roam. We saw the information being fed. We saw the impact go and the take against Hooker, and we're just seeing Liquid really, really just working together. Beautiful spots, beautiful picks, and it's all kind of coming together for them on this Danger Donut map. Penthouse Theater we go to now for Liquid, and it's just, they seem much more a team. They seem to unit that round than they did in the previous one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see Penthouse Theater a little bit earlier, but we are going to see it now, and I think this is really where this book ban is going to come into its own, where that theater is going to be pretty hard to take control of, where you don't have that much soft destruction on the board. I'm wondering if FaZe are going to realize that this is the objective that is being chosen by Liquid, and hopefully should respond accordingly. We have seen a sledge being brought on the board instead of an ash, so maybe not quite yet. As green forces are going to come out from Liquid in traditional places around theater onto VIP wall. We'll see how it is going to go down and see what kind of setup they're going to do. But it looks like pretty much the exact same setup that they did during Pro League, where they put that shield where Bullet is right now, and they opened up a wall as a kind of acting like a replacement in a way for Mira.
Well, it's always, you know, as we said yesterday, Mira, she is irreplaceable, and she is one of those operators that if she's ever unbanned, she's picked, especially on a map like this where she defines what this map can be. But at the same time, it'd be interesting to see how FaZe translate their attack, because they're bringing Yuna on the glass. And we've seen Yuna not really holding those long angles, which you do have the option to on this point, whether they're going to bring him in close and short, how they've generally been rolling it. And when you've got Liquid, as we see now, Nesk going for those long peaks and going for those attempted get them before they even get close to the building. I think we need to see a bit more kind of gung-ho from FaZe.
Maybe. But we've seen the most successful attacks from FaZe have been when they've been fairly defensive in their strategy, and they've not been so aggressive. But we've seen the most defenses coming in from Liquid when they have been very aggressive, and when they have taken a lot of gunfights early on, and they've taken a lot of utility off the board from FaZe early on. So we'll see how easy goes down. I'm expecting Liquid to, again, play fairly aggressively with this. We'll see as Zig is going to be playing on the dock and just kind of, again, go for this sort of peek everything strategy that comes through naturally for them.
You can see, obviously, Bullet is holding in VIP. Zig is set up with the holes underneath as well. Sexy Cake has a lot of information gathering. Obviously, we haven't really come into it. They have the Maestro and they have the Valkyrie feeding so much information as Astro gets the first pick against Zig. That is the Sophia taking care of business on that window as Yuna is going for the close range. Not worried about those long angles. They want to bring these fights tight and they want to keep everything within just around corners. Push as a unit, which they do so well. Maestro and Ness going for the big rotation there to back up the other side. Sexy Cake taking care of drones, taking care of business. They're waiting. This is all being weighed up. You can see it in how FaZe are playing. They're not wanting to throw too much in yet.
Yeah, lots of reinforcements being denying of the angles here. You haven't really got so much hard destruction either from FaZe. And I kind of feel like Yuna just wants to drop down, and he will do so. Smokes are going to go down, so Mav's going to try and get all the way into the site. And again, very similar strategies coming out from last night, as Mav's going to try and make his way into the site. Cameraman does, however, take down Sexy Cake, so pretty good for FaZe so far. They've got 2 kills on the board. Let's try and see if he can turn it into a third. As Yuna going to be fast peeking, get out and trying to get the kill where he can, but a little bit of potato coming up from him. Mav goes down, but doesn't manage to plant the diffuser. Runga takes down Bully. It's a 5v2 now, not looking too good for Liquid to try and bring this in. Neski's going to rotate all the way on. PSK is going to execute Mav. PSK takes down another one. Yuna goes down. That's a beautiful kill from Liquid. It's exactly what they need, and Nes going to run all the way through. Is going to try and retreat onto PSK, but oh, it's going to be the bathroom hatch from Astro. He's going to drop down, takes down PSK, takes down Nesk, and FaZe take round number 3.
Astro there with the beautiful pick up and drop down. That was great information team feeding there. You could see that we still had someone playing off, I believe, on DJ. Almost they pulled back. They let them push forward, and then it just freed up Astro to drop down and pick up 2 very nice kills. The window was still such a hard point of contention. Still on that donut there with the 2 assists as Glaz always. We had the sight lines straight across through into theater and yet couldn't land the frags.
Yeah, no, unfortunately he could not land any of those frags. We will move into round number 4 and see exactly how it is going to go down as we see another Billiards defense coming up from Liquid. And this has been pretty much their only successful, well, sorry, not their only successful defense. Kitchen was their only successful defense. So we haven't actually seen a Billiards room defense coming out from Liquid just yet. We'll see exactly how it is going to go down. And yeah, I think this should be a successful one for them. Although I was honestly really surprised that Penthouse Theater wasn't more successful for them. You saw that there wasn't really a theater take coming out at all from FaZe. They kind of all pushed in from the same way. I think, though, that entry frag onto Zig completely changed around that situation for them.
For sure. It seemed like from that point on, they were kind of playing on the back foot of their own defenses. It's like they'd almost set themselves up for a retake, which, don't get me wrong, is doable and is possible, and some teams do run that as their prime strats, but they almost didn't seem prepared for it. Obviously, Sexy Cake got picked off from behind, holding the VIP connector wall. They need to, they're kind of playing a bit loose, a little bit out of position, it seems like that. And whether that's just shaky nerves. Obviously, they lost the first 4 rounds in the previous map. Lost the first 4 rounds. They were on the attack, but this is one of those maps where it is favored, arguably favored to one of those. So there's still plenty of time. We saw them come back from worse.
Yeah, no, we definitely have seen them come back from worse. As we move into round number 4 and see exactly how it's going to go down. PSK going to try and open up rotations where he can through onto Aquarium and Billiards. Surprisingly, not going to see a castle here from Liquid. Yeah,
I mean, they've been making a few different choices in their rotations. FaZe have kind of locked in a loadout, and they're bringing it most times. They were even, to be fair, doing it on the previous map. As they had the Jackal, even when they were getting counter-peeked from ridiculous places. They're still bringing it, whereas Liquid is starting to, obviously, they've got the Legion, which is a lot of the times they've been picking off the Legion on the previous one. But Cameraman instantly dropping Sexy Cake. That is the Valk. Gone. And they're starting to push in through Office. Mav looking for those footprints, trying to find some vital information. Obviously, 2 people right above their heads.
Yeah, a little bit of a misread coming out there from Sexy Cake because he will go down so early on as it turns into a 5v4 situation. Liquid pretty much on the back foot here so far as FaZe, again, getting that early entry frag could mean the difference for them here. Runga is going to try and open up some sort of an opening here. As he does manage to do so successfully, And now FaZe looking pretty good to try and take this round and push into Aquarium and get a lot of control. Cameraman does open up a lot of vertical play from below. Donovan opts in on that replacement for Book. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Astro go below yet, as Yuna's actually going to try and peek it out and see what he can do here, but we're not going to see any frags coming out from FaZe just yet, other than the first one onto Sexy Cake. But they don't need it. They've got huge amounts of control now. They are starting to push in using their utility well. And there we go, the smokes are going to go down. Ness going to slowly retreat, but he is getting Jackal tracked there. As Yuna going to try and move through using the smoke as cover and trying to push all the way in. Nesk is going to get healed up to full by Zig there, using all of his little syringe darts there. As Cameraman is going to try and rotate around. No drones are going to come out first from him so far, but we're still seeing a pretty good presence from Liquid. But it is starting to wear down as we move into the final minute.
They're almost being shepherded and herded. Obviously, we saw Yuna creeping slow and close. Moringa takes down PSK at 5-3, and the diffuser goes down in and amongst all the utility. There's herded Nesk so far back and away from it with the Jackal tracking. Mav gets Zig, and Bullet takes down Cameraman underneath.
It's going to be a hard retake, though, as Nesk is trying to move into Billiard's room. Oh, it's going to be Astro is all the way in the middle of it. And it's going to be all down to Bullet, but Moringa is going to be waiting for them there at the kitchen door. And that's beautiful from FaZe.
2 for 2, bat for bat now as these guys start to really... They're stretching out best of 3. Oh, is it? Oh. I've written my things in the wrong order. But 3-1. 3-1. Apologies. It's the joy of these lovely studio lights. Now, as we see Moringa on a 7-1, absolutely destroying this coastline so far. But Yuna's still on a 0.
Unfortunately. But we are going to go through now into round number 5. It's going to be the final round of the attack coming up from FaZe. And we are going to see in a few rounds if this is truly attacker-sided or if FaZe are just having a better job with it. I think like yesterday we did mention that there was no clash ban. And I think that affected the defense from FaZe more than it affected the defense from Liquid, honestly.
Yeah, Liquid, they were generally... I mean, they were always confident. We even said it and then didn't really expand upon it. They were spawn peaking with Clash, which is it's a way of running a Clash. It's a way of running that control and that shield. But whether that's the best way, I think, is always... I'll leave that to you guys to discuss. But yeah, so it was something, it's always a big part. And obviously we know that Liquid, and especially Sexy Cake, are brilliant shield players. Really just control and move amongst a team and a map with shields brilliantly. So taking Clash out is definitely something that is more likely to affect Liquid. But 3-1 now as we start to go for the next take.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering how this is going to go down. I mean, this has been the only successful defense so far for Liquid. I want to say this mostly came down to Sexy Cake there on the Cav. He did get that 3K, but there was a pretty good roam game coming up from Liquid, and FaZe spent so long trying to push them out. And when eventually they went to go and push them out, a lot of them died to it. And they were very, very slow with that. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with being slow and methodical, especially on a map like Coastline, where you know you start off with a fairly big advantage on the attack, and it's all just a matter of just getting control and not being too hairy about it. But when it comes down to the final minute and you still got roamers on the board from Liquid, and you know there's a Cav on the board as well, and you haven't taken her out, and you haven't forced her back, things are going to start going wrong for you.
Sure, and obviously we've seen, yet again, Sexy Cake gets picked off first. That is the Frost taken out of the equation. They swapped, Nesk picked up the Valk instead, but just start to think, okay, Sexy, what can you do to kind of change this up? I think it was Cameraman who picked off Sexy Cake in the previous round as well. Really just great at shutting down a great player who was so influential in the previous map and so powerful in the previous map on defense.
Definitely, he was one of the top fraggers there. Nesk already going to get injured. Mav trying to confirm the kill. Bit of a skeet shooting there onto the Aquarium, but not able to get the kill just yet. As Nesk will crawl into safety, and Bullet attempted to trade him out here, potentially. He's peeking pretty aggressively onto that skylight.
It's always the way you like to go there. You go, well, do I let them up or do I leave them as bait? Try to coax in some potential refrags. Cameraman is creeping around Billiards, though, and there is the double from Cameraman.
Absolutely no one paying attention to that angle whatsoever, and Bullet will make the wrong decision to save his teammate and will cost him his own life. Moving into a 5v2 situation now. It's all down to Zig and PSK to try and bring this in, but they're going to have to try and find some gunfights. There goes one gunfight, but Cameraman just shuts down Zig. He's not having a good day today, but PSK will take down Yuna, but instantly traded by Cameraman.
4K. 4K for the Cameraman.
Beautiful 4K coming out from Cameraman in FaZe's final attack round. As we switch around to halftime, and we'll see exactly how Liquid want to take their attacks now, moving into round number 6.
Now, obviously, again, FaZe, they were, during the previous map at least, they were really bringing a good defense. Now, we said that Clash was an integral part, or, well, not an integral part, but a big part of what Liquid like to do with their defenders and how they like to play. FaZe less so. FaZe, I feel, will be less thrown by these bans. Mira is obviously, Mira's going to be banned. She's your plan B more than often than your plan A because you just expect her to not be chosen or not be allowed to be chosen. So I feel like, I don't know, we'll probably see a more familiar FaZe, I would say.
Definitely. We are going to get into the kitchen and we are going to see both the Italian operators coming out from FaZe in the kitchen. So
beautiful.
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 Let's see how it does go down. So you see a kitchen service entrance defense, and don't forget as well that that was still the only successful defense that has been so far on a coastline. Mav going to be playing on the Valkyrie. Interesting, the last time that FaZe played coastline in OGA pit, we saw a lot of Astro on a Valkyrie, and he was doing huge amounts of runouts and being pretty aggressive with it. So we'll see how it goes down. We are going to see fairly interesting strategy coming out here, actually, from Liquid, who have revolved a lot of it, actually, around Glaz here, it looks like, as Sexy Cake is going to be bringing the KB with the smokes. And Zig also has smokes here, and Capital also has smokes here.
That's a lot of utility push, and there's only so much you can kind of do to stop those getting thrown in. But obviously, they have to go up against those Maestro cams. And if they're set up in a way where you can see straight through this, I mean, we've seen these guys peek into smokes a lot of the time. We've seen these guys peek against smokes, and they've won firefights that they arguably shouldn't have, and whether that's down to good information or just solid confidence. It's 95% confidence, any firefight, as we know. It'll be interesting to see how much they can keep going against the grind of utility, and how much that'll translate to just stopping a push.
Yeah, we will definitely see how it just come out, and we'll see exactly if this is attacker-sided or not. As Liquid will begin their first attack. We'll see lots of drones coming out from them, and I'm so glad now to see a much heavier usage of the Glaz. And I think that, honestly, this is the way to play Glaz as a team, that you bring so much utility to support him. My only problem is there's no hard breach in this lineup.
No hard breach. I mean, it's... Sometimes you normally like at least one, but... At the same time, there's so many points in this map where they're going to be setting up half and half. They're going to be looking for those close quarters and those close peaks, which we know FaZe like to do. They like to kind of lure you into these firefights and take you when you don't expect it, just with quick reflexes and reactions. So obviously, they don't have anything to kind of push back. They don't have anything to kind of push against that attack. Instead, they've, as you said, opted for so much utility for a push, so much utility just to get in the building and get all going at once. Obviously, the Jackal spots are coming out there against Mav, but deep within point, so should be a bit safer than, say, one of those two roamers playing off on the far side.
Definitely should be. So smokes are going to start coming out here from Bullet, as counter smokes are going to come out fairly early on from Moringa. But I believe in him. I believe that he knows what he's doing here. But there's still so much utility on the board from Liquid that hasn't been put down yet. And that is a very early counter to start coming out from Moringa already. As Bullet is going to be holding down this angle. And we'll see Capital bolts are going to start going out. The smoke's going out there. As counter smokes again are going to come out. But Zig is just going to run all the way into the site. They're going to try and go for the plant. Bullet is going to go for the peek and try and take down one, but does not manage to find the kill, but does find the kill to Moringa. That's a double kill for Bullet. Takes down another. His Nest takes down one of his own. That's a 2v5 now, all down to Astro and Yuna. Almost a beautiful shot from Yuna, but not able to make it work as PSK takes him down with a headshot. It's going to be all into the hands of Astro in a 1v5. It's all into him. He's going to have to try and find what he can do here. Dokkaebi calls are out, of course. He can try and answer the call as he tries to push down onto Cool Vibes to try and get any frags that he can, but that diffuser slowly ticking down, slowly doing its work, and yeah, he won't be able to find one. Bullet with a 3K, beautifully played from the Glaz.
That was absolute masterwork to see when the Glaz moved in. Obviously, they pushed hard through the smoke. We were saying the amount of utility they were going to bring, and they just went for it. And Glaz just picked up. Obviously, missed the first couple of shots. You don't know if they could have fed the information. Glaz is at this window. They're firing in. Hard rotated around the corner. Picked up the very deep player, and then managed to then swap back to the original firefight and pick up what seemed like a very easy second. Whether they could have done a little bit more to feed that information or shut that down. As we go 4-2 to kitchen service entrance.
Again, still the only successful defense that we have seen coming out on Coastline. We haven't seen any others so far, so it makes sense for FaZe to go here, especially with the book ban on the board. I think it's definitely affecting the vertical play that you would normally see quite heavily. And, you know, we haven't really seen much vertical play from Liquid at all, but they didn't really need it because all they did was just kind of smoke out of the sight, put Glaz in the middle of it, and let him have a field day.
Yeah, and, you know, kind of, it paid off, it paid off. So we can see Ying there, but again, they've got the Ying, they've got the Capitao. If it works, don't change anything they're rolling with. They start to push against it again. Defenders, however, to it as well. They still have the Maestro, who didn't really get too much work out there. They're going to stack up against the same point, or are we going to see something a little bit different this time around?
I would like to see maybe a little bit more vertical play coming out from FaZe. I mean, they had vertical play in their hands, but it didn't really impact anything. Zig was still allowed to just run all the way into the side of the plant, and Bullet was still able to do what he was able to do best. I mean, yeah, that was pretty terrible coming out from FaZe there.
10 seconds to go.
There's not really much else to say about that, I suppose.
No,
We'll see how it goes down, just moving to round number 7. But I would like to see maybe a little bit more aggression from FaZe to stop Liquid just getting away from such a heavy smoke plant, which looking at the operating lineup is exactly what they want to do again.
See, obviously, Mav is throwing out those Valk cams. Cameraman rotating towards the officers. They're not going to push too far. Bullet one, you can see rotating with the Glaz there as well. They generally want to stack up by the looks of it in a similar kind of way. Moringa still opening up. However, Zig has that window that was so vital to the Glaz push last time. As you said, we kind of need FaZe to play potentially a little bit closer, a little bit more ready to get the pounce back against what was a very swift entrance from Liquid, and a very swift and almost clean take of the point.
Yeah, it was pretty swift and pretty clean indeed. Moving to round number 7 as the cameraman takes down Ness as the Candelas go out so early on coming out from him, but Zig goes down as well. Beautiful defense already coming out. Moringa opens up the soft destruction there. Takes down PSK with a shotgun, but Sexy Cake finds the first kill for Liquid this round. Using the CZ just take the head off of Mav, but it's all down to Sexy Cake already. 1 minute into the round, already so many members off the board. This game tries to move in to try and recover the diffuser, but the drop comes down, but Sexy Cake is going to be able to drop Cameraman. It is a 3v1 now. Logic Bomb is going to go out to try and assist Sexy Cake here. He does have 2 smoke grenades left remaining, but no Logic Bombs left remaining for him at all. This looks like smokes are going to come out from Moringa to try and deny anything going on, but they know exactly where he is. Oh, the Maestro Cam is going to do so much damage to Sexy Cake here as he tries to move into the kitchen. Does find another fight using the smoke to try and block him, does manage to down him, but Sexy Cake confirms the kill into Astro, but Moringa is there to right on refrag. FaZe can't take round number 7 and put themselves on a map point.
It was a valiant effort for sure from Sexy Cake there, but when you start getting zapped, it really can throw you off there. And obviously, as the one push brilliantly got the drop there, and then try to confirm the frag, I guess, you know, with the points of you never really know in that smoke whether you've got the drop, and it was just a pretty easy cleanup there as we go to a potential match point here, whereas, as we said before, this is a FaZe that we're more familiar in seeing. They seem to close that off much quicker and much sharper than other defenses have gone. And they were ready for it. They were ready. They got, I believe, it was at least 2, maybe 3 frags from the vertical control, dropping straight down onto the entrance there. So Blue Bar and Sunrise for a potential match point.
And as I said, you know, much more aggressive from FaZe, much more heavy use of the vertical play coming out from there, but almost the exact same strategy coming out from Liquid. And as you said, you know, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, you won't get fooled again. As we move into map point now to FaZe and see how exactly it is going to go down. We are going to see a Blue Bar, Sunrise Bar defense, and still, that kitchen service entrance, the only successful defense we've seen so far.
Yeah, no, it's very much, these guys are They're just more confident on that place. It would be nice to see how they counter to this. This was a point where FaZe barely entered the building to get the plant. And if there was a point, you didn't really have to win this one. But at the same time, are they going to find a way to counter that kind of strategy against, obviously, a Liquid that we know like to hit hard and they like to hit fast? So they have no fear in getting from point A to point B and killing everything and anything that gets in the way. They're throwing a fair bit of utility upstairs. They want to keep a bit more vertical control than they generally tried to take last time they just used the rotations. Castles and Jaegers going down in that aquarium where they're going to try and hard hold that. Wait and see as Moringa still digs upwards to open any and all sightlines down onto the heinous bar.
It's going to be interesting to see how aggressively FaZe play this, and they're really going to have to pull something interesting out of the bag if they want to hold on to this defense successfully. We are going to see a castle coming up from them, which I'm glad to see coming through, just because castle just tends to be pretty essential on this defense, whereas these Zofia charges coming in already to try and pick apart that castle defense. We'll see exactly how FaZe want to try and respond to that, but they have responded to it mostly by playing most people off the site, either downstairs or on Cool Vibes. Mav is going to be playing the dock. But honestly, it's such a bad position for Cameraman to be in right now.
Yeah, they've kind of double stacked on that window. Astro's obviously crawling to potentially a safer hideout in what has been the reinforced aquarium. Cameraman's just close on that window. It looks like Liquid are trying to weigh up whether they need to hard push. Map is on the Cool Vibes stairs, ready for the rotation, ready for anything against Hooker. It's going to pre-fire the door anyway, kind of set the tone and say, I'm here, come find me. We have this control. Looks like Liquid don't really care. Yuna takes down PSK and Ness gets the return frag. There is the run and jump out, but they do not get it. Astro, again, crazy.
Yeah, so much Raz coming out here. Moringa doesn't know where the plant is going down. He will just go down right in front of him. He has no idea, but he will jump over the hallway. Sorry, the bar, and just take down Zig. As we turn it into a 2v2, but the diffuser is down. Logic bombs are out, of course, as well. And it looks like Mav is actually going to go for a run out from offices just before he answers his phone. Moringa just try and move up and sees what he can do, as Mav is going to go for the run out now outside of Terrace. Sees what he can do, does manage to find the head of Sexy Cake. That's going to be Moringa trying to find the diffuser now. It's going to be all down to Ness to try and bring this in. The diffuser is going to be playing in a pretty awkward position for Moringa to do something about it. Mav is going to try and cover him as Nesk is going to try and rotate around, it looks like. And Nesk does find the head of Mav and tries to jump in to try and deny this from Moringa, but he sticks it. But Nesk does manage to save it. Keeps Team Liquid in this for at least one more round. And wow, that was very, very close from Nesk.
I can only imagine how little time was left on that diffuser. He was there staring at the ground for a while. Obviously, we didn't see if he dropped in and out, but it didn't look like he did. That was nail-biting from Nesk. There is no two ways about that taken. Obviously, it was quick and crazy. I think 2 people jumped out the window there to pick off frags, and there was just the pickoffs against each other, getting the Dockerby from the run-out on the other side of Dockerby. We go 5-3, still on that match point, and we go upstairs to Hookah and Billiards.
Both of the successful attacks so far from Liquid have seen the diffuser being planted, which is very stark difference to how FaZe were playing their attacks. They weren't very objective oriented. They did manage to get the diffuser down once, but other than that, they weren't really too bothered about it. We are going to see Mav finally picking up that Echo. That is amazing that in 9 rounds of play, well, sorry, 8 rounds of play, but only in the 9th round are we finally seeing an Echo here on Coastline.
Yeah, you think with how these guys have kind of been playing of feeding information and rotating, and just how much of a beast Echo can be.
Attackers need to locate
He doesn't get too much. He didn't really get picked much, doesn't really get banned much. Latam we've seen as well. To be fair, FaZe weren't really 6th picking much either recently. They were kind of confident showing their cards and going with it. So to 6th pick to Echo especially, it'll be interesting to see how that develops in this strategy, whether they change up just how they're placing people or how much of a surprise they want to keep.
I think it just says a lot about the differences in playstyle in certain regions and certain players, that the fact that we just haven't seen any IQ at all in this series, despite the heavy reliance on things like Valkyrie cameras and the yokai drones and things like that. And especially in a way as a counter to Maestro as well, because he can be sat on his camera, right? So he can be able to see his phone. And speaking of that as well, we've seen a lot of KB coming out from Sexy Cake. Haven't seen an IQ to sort of bring in that either. So, kind of interesting the playstyle that Liquid have gone for here. They try to concentrate a little bit more on smoke play, a little bit more on this sort of Jackal to KB combo. And the fact that Book has been banned as well, they've used Jackal as a sort of replacement for him, I think has worked out quite well for Liquid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, the day before yesterday, we saw some unbelievable Jackal play as well. Jackal is very much just being brought out to show at this OGA pit so far. So it's always nice to see these guys bring him and just step up the game each and every time. Cameraman slowly pushing around the far side of the upstairs, waiting for any potential push against Projector, against Penthouse. Astro holding the close. You can see, again, there is the Echo drone. Mav just sitting above and waiting, and a combination of feeding information and just being that extra thing to rely on and to help you out on a point where they don't really have anything to easily spot or get rid of those.
No, they don't have at all. And so much time already wasted here. Liquid not really making too much headway, but they still don't really have any of their utility deployed. They are slowly taking control of the map, so it's not going to matter too much, and we haven't seen a kill go down either way. And when that happens, it tends to favor the attackers more than the defenders, because they have time to gain control as long as they are actually doing stuff with that time. And you see they have taken control of VIP accordingly. Zig is going to move up onto the hooker deck and see what he can do here. But still not seeing too much action from either side yet.
The thing, they're weighing each other up. Obviously, Zig's taking a fair bit of damage. Bullets there to back up. You hear some of the utility being thrown now. This is when the execute is coming. The entire area is being smoked off as Nescan. Bullet pick up 2 frags there. You can hear the Echo drone going off. Bullet with the double. Glass shutting down inside. And the diffuser is down and planted. PSK cleaning up with the double again at the end. Well, you said it wasn't happening much, and there it was. There was the execute.
What a disaster from FaZe there. They had a perfect opportunity to deny that plant. They had Echo on the board. They had Smoke on the site. They knew they had pushed in. All Smoke had to do was take his shotgun out, and he could have gotten an easy double kill there. But maybe there was miscommunication. Maybe they didn't know he was already into the site. I don't think there was a Maestro cam watching any of that, or if it was already destroyed. So, yeah, big mistakes coming out from FaZe there. Will lose them the round. And now Liquid are within striking distance of bringing this map into overtime.
4-5. Yeah, really, really showing up now. Obviously, when you're playing against the match point, it is forever looming over you. And it's just one more step. And every round is the most important round. Here's more 6th picks coming out. Not bringing the Echo again. Going to roll with Pulse instead. Sexy Cake chose a blitz. We've talked about how good Sexy Cake is on shields. But is thinking of splitting off and where they're going to end up. To KB. Going to keep on with that, keep on with the strategy, keep on working. Hopefully as we go to kitchen and service.
Yeah, we will see exactly how it is going to go down. And we do see FaZe again returning to the kitchen service entrance. And again, I know I pointed it out a number of times already, but this has been the only successful defense we've seen so far on Coastline. And yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons for this, but I want to pin it down mostly to the fact there's a mirror ban, and this tends to be one of the only sites on Coastline that, not that it's impossible to hold other sites without a mirror, but definitely much easier on kitchen service entrance to hold it without a mirror. In fact, most of the times when you're playing this site, I see a lot of teams not playing with a mirror at all, just because it's so easy to get vertical play open and pop the mirrors anyway.
It's ones where you can have plan Bs, plan Cs, and they work just as well as what is often cited as your plan A mirror. But we'll see obviously how that translates. You said it is the only successful defense. They have lost one on this point, and they've won one on this point as well, where they were just waiting to be able to rotate back round it. It's just opened up, and they've instantly gone to it. So they have a lot of confidence in what they can bring to this kitchen hold. Watching ready for, again, these guys have bought heavy utility pushes. They have a lot of possibility here. They have Zafir, they have Capitao, they have those smokes of glass. Dokabi as well running upstairs currently. Sexy Cake potentially trying to clear off any potential roam, set down some calls and find, which to be fair, when they did win it, FaZe, that was what did it. It was a shutdown from above, the vertical play that they just kind of ignored Liquid.
They did ignore Liquid a lot, but I think that when they won this defense as well, they were playing a lot more aggressively, they were playing a lot more to the vertical play. Hopefully going to bring that in this time, but even when that went through, Sexy Cake still got a 3K and almost clutched a 1v5. So it was still a very, very close round indeed. And we'll see exactly how it is going to go through. As Liquid looking to set up for a fairly similar attack again. Vertical play does get opened up just a little bit, but it's like Sunrise Push is going to come through. Capital Bots are going to go down to the site, and then Zig is going to just try and run all the way in and get the plant down. But Astro is going to shut down Bullet already. What a disaster. He didn't know that vertical play was opened up. What just happened?
That is... Wow, that's one of those holes that I think everybody who plays this game, that's a gold 4 hold that is right there, and being picked up from that, especially losing your Glaz, which is such a big part of your utility push, is unfortunate, is the softest way you can put it. Here comes all that utility thrown into the point. Moringa is rotating around in the smoke. Astro gets one, takes down Zig with a very easy pick there. Zig had no idea. Astro gets a double, closing down Nesk, and a triple to find PSK in and amongst that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be good halves coming out as FaZe do take round number 10 and put it into their favor of 6-4. And it looks like we are going to be going to our decider of Bank.
Be interesting. This is the first decider we've seen as well. Obviously, the previous games that we've done so far in this OJ pit have been duos. They've been 2 maps, two teams. So it's good to see back and forth, especially back and forth that is this back and forth. We've had full overtime. We've had a 6-4 there. They're trading rounds. This is what you want to see.
Zeke was not having a good day.
No.
Not having a good match.
It's, you know, well, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. So
anyway, we're going to cut to a commercial break here before we return to you in about 3 minutes or so for our third and final map of this incredible series on Bank. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Stick around.